Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. Welcome to A Home for You, hosted by me, Odette Tisiglo. Before we start, I want to remind us all, with me included, that I'm just here communicating a message and I'm using words that I've learned, that I picked up on, and I've stored in my subconscious mind to help translate the message. However, I would encourage you to tap into what the words are helping you remember instead of what they actually mean in the dictionary. Sometimes that helps. What they actually means in the dictionary, that helps a bit. But what I mean is, a lot of the time throughout history, just take a moment to remember. Throughout history, we've had messengers that have come through, said the message in music and dance and poems, right? Even the Bible, right? It's a book of a lot of messages. However, a lot of the times it's difficult to translate the message when you are confused by the words that they're using or the labels that they're using. Sometimes people use God, sometimes they use love, sometimes they use uh, words from science, from psychology, and from things. And it might confuse you if that was not your path, right? So I want us to tune into what the words help us remember instead of, oh, these words mean this automatically. So I've been away for a bit. I was on a retreat in Harbin Hot Springs, and then after that, right after, I went to Saint Martin. It was a birthday trip that I planned a while ago, and so I just did it on all together. And so I've been a little exhausted, and so I've been taking time for myself, the best thing I can do. But throughout the trip in Harbin and Saint Martin, and then when I came back, something stood out to me: the elements of the earth, right? The elements that make us us. And so I want to talk a little bit about the elements of the earth and how they're here to serve us, right? So before there was any social media, before there was the news, before there was anything, the Bible, before there was anything we created conventionally, they were always there, the elements of the earth. So the ones I'm going to focus on are air, water, fire, the ground. I would I look, I don't know if the this is considered another element of the earth. I do not go by, like I'm saying, the words I'm using are just here to help communicate a message, and I do not really go by what Google says and what the dictionary says. So I'm going to add the trees in there. I'm going to add the trees. Maybe I'm just being a little biased because I just feel like they do so much for us. So I'm going to talk about. So just forget about. Take out the elements out, and let's just talk about the things we might use every day that we forget: fire, water, air. I do want to add the trees in there, and um, let me see. Right now, those are the four that are coming up to me. Those are the four that I want to focus on, and I want to use to help us remember something very crucial. So I'm going to take a few deep breaths to help me ground myself. And I'll encourage you to do the same to help you ground so you can remember the message instead of just listening with the ears, the physical ears that you have. And I want to ground myself so I can translate the message as accurate without my own fear filters, because this is very important. A lot of messages forget that part, and so then the message gets confusing, and then the cycle of fear continues. And I am definitely not here to do that. Okay, I'm going to take, I'll take 5 deep breaths in and out, and I will encourage you to do the same. And even right now, the tool that I just used to ground myself was air. And so maybe we'll just start with that. Ever since I was a kid, I loved the wind. I loved it. I don't really remember my birth or don't really have any stories around it. But every time I felt the wind, I say, I'm pretty sure I was born in the wind. It just brushes against my skin, just reminds me that there's so much more here than I could ever imagine, you know? For a long time, I didn't really understand the purpose of the wind, but I knew I liked it very much. So, through the trauma, the physical abuse, and all of the pain around everything, the wind was really just nice. Excel. It was nice. It reminded me that there's so much more than I could ever imagine. And so let's talk more, let's go deeper in a way that reminds us why air, why it's here for us. A lot of you know, at least a lot of us remember that we use air as a tool through our breath, right? We breathe in, we create our own version of the wind when we exhale through the nose or through the mouth, or when we blow air. And it's always here to remind us, breathe. We are part of you. Breathe. I am here. I am here with you. No matter what, no matter where you're at, the air is there. 100%. We actually need it to live. But a lot of us have forgotten the air. We just think about it as, oh, a way to live. Yeah, I just gotta breathe it. Yeah, that's it. But a lot of the times when fear comes up, we forget the air. We forget that it's our tool. I sometimes think about it as our vacuum, a vacuum to clean out the fear. Think about, like, think about when the wind comes through and how it just washes away and takes away the leaves, the dead leaves, and everything that doesn't belong, you know? Even our vacuums that we use every day, it uses air to clean. And so I think about air as a way to clean and to connect back to the body, to the mind, and to the spirit, the one we usually forget, the spirit. But yeah, a lot of the time we go around life chasing, busy, doing this, trying to save the world in our own ways, trying to do this for us, trying to do this for family, money, money, money. And we forget to breathe intentionally, to not just breathe to survive, but to breathe to live, to use our air to cleanse like a vacuum, sucking up all the things that are inside, all the fear that we've been holding for how many years before we were reborn again and again and again and again, and letting it out. People heal themselves through this breath with the air, our strength. So I want to talk about fire. I've been really interested in fire. I light up my candles, and when I went to Harbin Hot Springs, the story that the women around me kept repeating while I was on this retreat was how Harbin was, the whole place was burned down a few years ago, many years ago. Um, Burned down the trees, the homes, the domes, the cabins, everything was burnt down. And so they were reminding me the history to talk about how important this space and how special Harbin Hot Springs is for not only the guests, the visitors, but the the owners and the staff, the people that worked there. And there was this one particular woman that was talking to me about how I was asking about the trees. I was Because when we were driving down the hot springs, we saw like sticks just pointing up, sticks, and I'd never seen anything like that before. Right? There are a lot of trees, a lot of beautiful, gorgeous trees, but through the mountains, you see a bunch of sticks just sticking up. And the woman was explaining to me that the sticks were basically the burned down trees. They're still there to remind us of this story. Then, while she was telling the story, she was explaining to me, because I was like, wow, all these trees here, like, even after everything burned down, all of this grew back. And she was explaining to me that the fire cracks open the seeds of the trees in a way that water can't. And so when it comes with the wind and it burns down everything, the trees fall and the trees are still standing up and the seeds fall. It cracks up open the seed in a way that water can. And so when all the fire has come through, there's actually more many seeds planted in the ground. Um, and then so then when the water comes through, it kind of recreates itself. It's just how beautiful Earth is. It's just everything is there for a reason. And so when she was telling me that, I was thinking about how, oh wow, we've been misunderstanding fire for a long, long, long time. Because fire can also burn because of the ouch, because it can burn down the things that we're attached to. We forget its purpose. We forget that it's here to clean, to help us let go of things in a way that water can't, or in a way that the air is not able to. We misunderstand it so much because we're so scared of it. And I was just thinking about, wow. So Harbin is now rebuilt, it's rebuilding, still in the process. And um, it just carries this really beautiful story now of how the people there got back up and said, yep, fire came through. It helped us remember how where we live, where we're at, and how sacred this land is. And so we're going to come back and rebuild. And so that is what they are today, the still Harbin. They could have tapped into the fear and say, oh my God, how horrible this fire. We're never going to be here again. But because they were present enough, I mean, it's literally a place that holds retreats. They were able to rebuild it in such a beautiful way. I'm going to I want to tie the air and the fire together before I talk about water. Those two elements that I just talked about, they're elements that we use every day, but we forget why we're using them. Oh yeah, it's just to keep me warm, the fire, but it's so much more. And this is where we really forget the spirit a lot, you know? Everything carries a certain power, a certain energy, but as humans, because we've been so busy with the things that we deem more important, the fear, the surviving, we forget that all these things are here. The fire, the air, the water, they're here to help us. They're literally here serving us. They're serving us in many ways, serving the earth. And we forget to appreciate them. And we forget to be so present with them that they help us remind ourselves of ourselves, if you get what I'm saying. Air is not just here to just help you survive, just breathe, or else you just die. There's a reason why there's a whole practice around meditation, around breathing intentionally. It's a healing people. It's helping people surrender within their own body. It's helping connect a lot of people to the spirit, the one that we forget about. And there's so much misconceptions about fire. We get scared when we see a bunch of candles lit. Oh my God, is this voodoo? Is this, it seems too religious or it seems too spiritual for me. When you've been using fire your whole life, you've been cooking with fire, you've been, you probably have a fireplace that you use to not use. The sun is a ball of fire that lights up your day every day. And so, if fire is here to burn and help you let go of the things that you're attached to, very attached to, that you can't let go with air, then how can you use fire intentionally throughout your living process on this beautiful home we call Earth, on this planet? Let's talk about water. I love water. But for the longest time, I I was so scared, even as a kid, when I would stand in the shower for a long time. I couldn't put my face in the water. I would stick out my head and just wash my body. And then when I was ready to wash my face, I would just take some water in my hand, splash it on my face, use my African sponge, clean, use the water again in my hand to clean my face, because that's how scared I was to put my head in the water. And so finally, when I was old enough to pay for my own swimming classes, got myself a private teacher. Still, I couldn't overcome this fear of putting my head in the water. They asked me, "Have you drowned before? Did you have, what is your trauma around water?" And I cannot give them an answer because I do not remember. I thought maybe, we carry the fears from our ancestors from the past. You carry fears that you can't pin back to where it started, but you just have this fear of whatever, fear of snake, fear of this and fear of that, you know? And so a lot of times we're carrying these fears over generation, over thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And some of us not try to figure out where it's from. And we just continue the cycle. We teach our children to be scared of this thing too. So continue the cycle. That's what we do, because we think we're here to survive. And so we build a whole society around survival. The media, everything is around survival now. Everything. And so for the longest time, water was something I was just scared of. I would go in pools, but I would not put my head under the water, you know. But I always had this craving for water. I just, the sea, ponds, no matter what they look like, waterfalls. I love water. I know it's part of me. And yet I always had this fear around it. And now through this journey, I get reminded all the time why she's here for me. And so instead of drinking water to survive, I start using water intentionally too. It's like my body is the tree, the plant. And so I don't just drink water to survive, but I drink water to intentionally help my body grow. And now in the shower, I'm able to put my head in the water, by the way. When I'm washing my day away, I remember that water is not just here to help me survive, but it's also here to help me wash away fear. And so in the shower, I thank the water and I ask the water to help me let go of all the fears that I've accumulated throughout the day. And I feel just that. I feel I leave the shower feeling like that was a great meditative moment. And so our ancestors, long time ago, were doing this naturally. But then we brought in religion, we brought in fear wrapped in a bow, and we were like, okay, this must be it. This is the new thing. This is why I say it's very hard for anyone to fool you when you're present. The things that I've just said through this message, I bet you were not like, oh, I just learned something very new. I'm sure you remember it. Oh, yeah, I use water to clean my hands. I was just cleaning them in the physical sense. But I can use water to clean, to let go of the things that do not work for me. Anything that is not serving you is not you anymore. And so that is what fire, the air, they're here to help you do. But we go around that day, we're too busy, we're too this, we're too that. I don't have time for that. I'll make time. You'll make time for the elements that make you you. And so you go your life surviving until your body gives up on you or your mind gives up, silencing the spirit part of you until death is the last decision you made through your fear. So I want to think about releasing when it comes to these elements. And my favorite, the trees. The trees. The trees for me, they remind me of the body that is serving me every day. They remind me of how the best way They serve me is by being grounded. And so the best way I can serve them is by being grounded. They remind me that there's no attachment. Look at those trees that just totally burned down in Harbin. Just came back up in so much more abundance, so much beauty. And instead of nature saying, "Oh no, the sticks, the burned trees, let's take all of that down. Let's not remind people of this." Those trees are still holding up with pride, saying, "Yeah, we're here to remind you of this story." Reminding us that when you look at history, not through the lens of more fear, you just sit down, you ground yourself, and you just look at history. You're just reminded of how fear have moved us away from who we are, and how fire, every time when fire comes through, it's here to wash and to help us let go of the things that we find so hard to let go of. But because of our attachments to things of the ouch, 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 the one who says ouch more, the one who fear more, the one who sees the fire and says, "Oh my goodness, you're so horrible," is usually the one who gets burned. Everything is here to serve you as you are serving them. The best way to serve the beautiful planet that you love is to be you. Let fire, let the water, let the air, let the trees, let the animals remind you of that. Remind you to be. The trees don't run up to us and say, "Oh my God, I can provide you with oxygen. I can provide you with air. Look, 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 look. Breathe me, breathe me." They don't have anything to prove. They know the best way to serve you is to just be what they are. The trees, the beautiful, magnificent trees. Fire doesn't say, I can burn, don't touch me, I'll burn you, I'll burn you." It just is. It comes and it does. It serves. And if you meet it with your fear, it might just burn. Water carries us, the ocean. You can get lost in it, or you can flow on it. You can float. You can remember yourself with it. You can remind yourself of yourself. The water she births, she gives and she takes. The perfect balance. She washes, she gives. Wow, she does so much for us. And yet, we forget when we're facing her. "Oh, yeah, I got work, I got this, I got blah, 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 blah. This is more important. This is more important. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that." Going around life destroying yourself bits by bits with fear. No, my fear is valid. My fear is valid. There's people dying around the world. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. And so, in the doing and doing and doing, you destroy yourself and you destroy a little bit more of the world. Or, oh yeah, it's me, man. It's me against the whole world. It's just me. So then you take and you take and you take. And you're never full. Just take and take and take and take and take and take and take. Because of the fear. You're scared. You're scared. Am I doing it right? Do I have enough of this or do I have enough of that? Am I being this enough? Am I this enough? I don't have enough. I'm so alone. And yet the fire is here with you. The trees, your body, they're here with you, seeing you, trying to communicate with you, but because of the fear, because of the distraction and the pain, you've been going your whole life. They're just trees. It's just water. It's just fire. There's so much we don't know. There's another side of life we've never been to because all we're distracted by is what we're able to just see with the eyes, hear with the ears, speak with the mouth, trying to prove something or trying to chase something. We never take the time to sit down and say, what if just maybe there's another side to this? What is the flip side to this? Some of us think the flip side is more horrible because that's what we've lived through: struggle, 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 pain, 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 fear, fear. And so we think, well, the devil we know is better than the one we don't know. That's what we think. But when we look at history, we look at inspiring stories of our heroes and of our icons. Each one of them at some point were met with a very scary, scary experience. And although they felt all the fear, they were brave enough to see what was on the other side. And so they found light on the other side. Even though initially they thought was going to be a lot more darker, because that's what they've experienced. They saw light. And so they followed the light, the yellow brick road. If you have a chance, um, if you like, um, watch the Wiz or the Wizard of Oz. They do a really good job, like going through using music to help us remember life, remember how fear can show itself, right? Through the lion, the mean lion, he was scared. The man, that had no heart all this time was actually kind and just so loving. But he thought he needed to have a physical heart to do so. And the scarecrow thought he couldn't walk because the crow said you can't. So then he believed it his whole life. But yeah, this one really felt like um, more of a little rant. I see it like a bicycle. It's going, and so we got here. I'm still trying to rest and to go back and go deep and go back deep and deep and deeper. Then my intention is that this session helped you remember something about the elements of us. I want to add that whenever you feel really disconnected, sometimes I feel like that too, just really, really disconnected because that's just how it works sometimes with fear. You know, you got triggered by someone and something or this and that, and then you add in your own fears, and it just turns into this thing that just makes your whole body feel weak. And so sometimes the best way to reconnect and tap in, instead of picking up the phone or the media or the things that we've created conventionally to help us survive, just lighting up a candle or taking a bath, sitting in water for a bit. If you have a pool, going into your pool, connecting with the energy, or going outside and being with the trees, giving the trees a hug if you feel called to do so. Sometimes the best way to love is to just observe and, yeah, spend time around your elements. And sometimes astrology can also help with that. Think if you're fire sign or your water sign, that could be a guidance. The truth is, all these things, elements, make you you. So you carry the sea within you, you carry fire within you. You are a tree, you are the earth. You carry air, you make air, you take in air. It's your vacuum. You breathe it all the time. So use it as your vacuum to intentionally clear out toxins, clear out things, fear that's been held in the body since thousands and thousands and thousands of years before you were reborn again and again and again. A lot of the times, the fears that you're even carrying are not from this lifetime. So you are carrying a lot. So, yeah, tap into your element and come back to yourself, get reminded again, come back. And so together we can keep expanding, we can keep growing, remembering, in doing so, even inspiring the people we call our villains, inspiring them. It's time to remember again. So, this is the message today. If you feel called, leave a comment on what this session reminded you of, reminded you of, Or if you have any questions, I welcome them. They help me remember more. I love questions, I love them. Or if you have stories, you remembered how you used fire before without even knowing, without even realizing, or how you use water this time to hold or to clean, to create, how you were talking to the trees and you felt a message within you, whatever that looks like. I would love to read or to hear them. Thank you for taking the time to listen. We live in a world that encourages hustle, hustle culture. Keep keep on the go, 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 go. So thank you for taking almost an hour to sit here, to sit within yourself, to surrender within yourself enough to hear whatever message you got out of this. I got something different, and we're all getting something different. So, yeah, I'm back and I'm going to be making more of these. This is my transition session, so it's a bit more slower, less fiery, but more like air, more like water. We're just holding and breathing and getting some warmth in there with some fire while grounding ourselves like the tree. It's very crucial to have these times too, you know. And so none of my stuff are edited at all. I just let what comes. The truth is what I am blessing myself with. I'm gifting myself with, and doing so, gifting you with. There's a lot of things in our world that are so embedded with fear, and so I'm just sharing the rawness of my presence with you, just like how the trees share their rawness with me. It's the best gift they give me every day. And so, yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.